How's it going, guys? It's Cole from See Through Panel showing off my haul from October 2023. It has been a ridiculously fast month. I got a lot of books. I've not been reading enough of them, so I'm going to wrap this video up pretty quick so I can get back to reading. As always, I'm not going to be spoiling too much, just talking about what I know of the books, what I think the story is, why I bought it, all that stuff. First, I bought volumes 4 through 7 of Hell's Paradise, written and drawn by Yuji Kaku, published by Viz, and it retails for about $13 US. I'll show off one page only because there's often nudity in this series, but I've really been loving this book. I want to read all 13 volumes. I've been trying to collect them as fast as possible so I don't lose momentum in the story. I'm really excited to have so many of them now. I've got 7 out of the 13, and some random volumes here and there are a little harder to get than other volumes, which is how it goes in the collecting hobby, but really excited to get this done and over with and kind of just have all of the volumes before I lose them. Here's the cat. I don't want them to go out of print or anything like that before I have a chance to get them, so I'm trying to get them as quickly as possible. That and reading a 13-volume story over the course of a whole year is probably not the best way to do it. I want to read it all within a few months, get the story as a whole. Next up, Thor's trade paperback from Marvel. Pretty thin. I think it's a 4-issue miniseries. Yeah, 1 through 4. And it retailed for $20 or $16. That's Canadian. $16 US. Written by Jason Aaron, art by... Who is it by again? Chris Sprouse. I almost said the wrong name. Chris Sprouse and Goran Sudzuka coming in for issues 2 and 3, some fill-ins. It is just a piece I was missing of my Jason Aaron Thor run. Pretty much the only piece I was missing. I recently got the Unworthy Thor trade paperback because I read that in issues when it came out. And I'm not really a completionist on a lot of my stuff, but for this, it's one of the runs that got me into Marvel, and I've read it when I was pretty early on in my comic reading kind of hobby, so really wanted to have it. It's a fun, buddy cop detective book. It takes place outside of canon and all that, so you don't have to worry about anything. It's something I really enjoy about Jason Aaron is he knows how to have a good time in comics, and I really like that. So, Mobilus by Juni Ba, My Life with Captain Nemo. Beautiful hardcover, gold foil, published by TKO, who seem to have a pretty good track record, even though I've really not read much of their stuff. It is a original graphic novel, I believe, retailed for $30 US. It looks absolutely gorgeous in Juni Ba's patented early 2000s Cartoon Network Genndy Tartakovsky kind of style, and yeah, it looks like a Captain Nemo story. A lot of underwater, as you'd expect. Just a adventure book. I have no idea what this is about. I just bought it because Juni Ba is a amazing creator. Beautiful, beautiful art 100% of the time, and the style is just to die for me. I think it's so wonderful. It's just a joy to look at. Every line just seems to have a lot of love behind it, and it's really fun to read his books. After that, let's go with Blade of the Immortal, Volume 10, finally the last of the deluxe editions. I started collecting these years and years ago, probably 4 years ago or something. I don't even know when the first one came out. You can check. It took forever for these to come out, like 2 a year, it feels like. And it's my favorite manga of all time. It's by Hiroki Samura, and it is published by Dark Horse. This, I can't actually see the price. I want to say it's like $50. Obviously, if you're going to buy a whole series of deluxe hardcovers, pre-order them. You're going to save almost 50%. I have all 10 of these. It did not cost me $500 to get these, and it was over the course of 5 years, so it's much better that way. I can't really show anything from it because there's a lot of nudity in it. Well, not a lot. I'll do a whole video on the series once I reread it because it's amazing. Tale of a little low fantasy samurai story. Our main character is basically immortal. I'll do a whole series. Manji is one of my favorite characters of all time, so I'll do a video covering that eventually. After that, I've got Mimi's Tales of Terror by Junji Ito. Original stories by Hirokatsu Kihara and Ichiro Nakayama. I think these are just folk tales. I'm not sure who those people are, why they're attributed to those people. I thought they were just folk tales that he adapted. Not entirely certain of that. Published by Viz, as always. Little hardcover. Retails for $24 US. Comparing it to a Viz trade paperback, or a Viz paperback manga, it is quite a bit bigger, which is very nice. Yeah, Junji Ito. Can't go wrong with Junji Ito. One of my favorite creators. His consistency is insane. His hit rate is just pretty much 100% with me. I love his art style. He's so easy to spot. If you're a Junji Ito fan, you can look at any manga and tell if he's drawn it. Probably also because of the content of the manga, but I'm not great with manga artists, so that's pretty rare for me to be able to just say, oh, that's Junji Ito. This is one of those times where, yeah, anytime you see his art, you'll know it's his. And just a wonderful, wonderful horror creator. Probably the best to ever do it in manga, I gotta say. After that, DDark Volume 5 by Q Hayashida. Published by Seven Seas. Smaller than the Viz manga. Probably the same width, about, but not as tall. And I don't know why that is. They do more production value. You've got spot varnish, kind of the matte back. The paper feels of a higher quality. I don't know why they do the small format, but it works. It's fine. I don't actually have... I think I have volumes 1 and 2 of DDark. I just got 5 because I know I want to read the series, and this was up for pre-order, so it would be cheaper than if I buy it later. And I'm going to read up to volume 5, so why not buy it? I still haven't even started the series. I'm just an insane person and have that collecting mindset with this. But it looks gorgeous, and I've always liked Hayashida's art, but I've never really gotten into this series, so really excited to have it. Eventually I'll get on that, probably pretty soon. I haven't been reading a ton of manga lately, so I'm probably going to dive back into that here in a bit. After that, we've got We Only Find Them When They're Dead, written by Al Ewing, art by Simone DeMio. You tell me if I said that right. Published by Boom Studios, big deluxe hardcover, retailing for $50 US. Here is the size next to a trade paperback. So definitely a big ol', almost Rick Remender style hardcover. Beautiful. I only know a few things about this story. I've read the first issue. Sci-fi tale. We have a group of basically miners, with an E, mining the bodies of dead gods in space with a spaceship. And it's their job to mine these parts and sell them. And the bodies are kind of, people put claims on the bodies. So someone claims the nose, they get there first, they claim the nose, that's really valuable. And it kind of works like that. There's policing around it, there's personal security that stands by to watch to make sure no one infringes on the rules or takes anyone's claims. And I assume it's going to widen the scope soon. I don't think it's just going to be a story about mining. I think it's going to be more ask the question, why do they only find the gods when they're dead? And try to go to find a living god, which has never been done. But the art looks really like... Whoa, had a bit of a bendy page there. Why is that? Strange binding. But so polished, smooth, clean art. Not necessarily my favorite style, but I think it works for a sci-fi tale. Everything looks so clean, very rounded edges on everything. And I just kind of like Al Ewing's stories, to be honest. I think the art is awesome, and I think the coloring's great. I should check his coloring this. I think it looks very pretty. Color assist by Mariasara Miyadi? I have horrible names. And Andwell designed the letters. But I might have bought this without Al Ewing's name on it. But just the idea of these dead gods being mined in space, and they're always dead. Why are they always dead? Where are the live ones? Really attracted me to the story. It's a cool concept, and Al Ewing has such a high hit rate, like I said before, of his stories are so compelling and so abstract and weird and cool. I love him as a writer in this moment because a lot of the stuff he's doing now are just knocking out of the park, especially with Marvel. Like, you don't see a lot of crazy stories like he does at Marvel. So I want to promote him as a writer, so I'm going to buy his stuff. Another guy who's also knocking out of the park, I've been told, I don't read enough of his work, James Tynion IV. Alvaro Martinez Bueno with Jordi Belair on art and colors. It's called The Nice House on the Lake, the deluxe edition. I've already been spoiled that I think this is more of a Volume 1 scenario. There's going to be more, although I think this was originally billed as a full series. That could be wrong. I don't really remember. I think I read that once, but it doesn't have any markings for Volume 1. So maybe it is a full series. I might be wrong. Don't take that as a spoiler. I'm probably wrong. $49.99 US, $50, published by DC Black Label. It's like Vertigo, but not as cool. Book, don't know the story very well. I think it's all these like 10-ish people know a guy, and that guy invites them all to the house. They might know some of each other, but it's mostly strangers, all with a singular connection between them. They invite him to his house. He invites them to his house, and he tells them the world's basically going to end. This is your bastion. This is your sanctuary. I wanted to save you guys because I like you. And I'm like an alien, is basically what he says. And they all go, what the hell? And then the world basically ends around them, maybe? I haven't gotten that far. I just know the kind of like elevator pitch. So, end of the world. They're on a sanctuary because they happen to be friends with this alien who is somehow in cahoots with the aliens ending the world. Something about that. I think it's supposed to be horror or maybe just a thriller. All the different people are like the consultant, the artist, the pianist. They all have their own titles with their professions. And this guy, the art looks gorgeous. This panel specifically gives me kind of like Greg Smallwood vibes, but with more charcoal type effect than digital smearing color. I'm sure it's digital, but just very Smallwood. That's the guy I think who is an alien. That's not really a spoiler. I think that's revealed in like issue 1. Yeah, it looks great. I really like it. I love James Tynion's work that I have read. I've not read enough of it that I can really hop on the bandwagon just yet. But the entire world seems to think he's like the next big thing. So I'm inclined to believe them. After that, I'll do Dawn to Dawn, Volume 5. My favorite ongoing, because Hell's Paradise is technically concluded. But I won't compare them. Dawn to Dawn, my favorite ongoing series. Yuki Nobutatsu wrote and drew it, published by Viz, and retails for $10 US. Typical manga size from Viz, and it's just wacky weirdness. Aliens are real, ghosts are real. Some people have powers. Two school kids palling around, getting into crazy adventures. The roster of characters keeps growing. They keep having more members added to their group, and they always have such a nice dynamic with these new characters. The art is just to die for, and it's got so much charm to it. It's got a lot of charm to it, and I think it's really promising series. I'm glad that it's still going. There's some weirdness for you. It's just a weird one. It's just a weird book, and it just always gets weirder, and it's got these weird, horrific moments that are then punctuated with some comedy, and then just a really heartwarming family moment. A little bit of fan service if you're into that, but not too much, because I'm not really into that. But yeah, love this series. I have yet to read Volume 4, because I didn't want to get super into it and then just have nothing to read. So now that I have 2 volumes, I'll probably catch up. After that, Kaiju number 8, Volume 8. Just like Dawn to Dawn, I don't think I actually have up to Volume 8, but this is on pre-order, and I love this series, so I'm going to be reading it. Naoya Matsumoto wrote and drew it, published by Viz, as all things I read are, apparently. $12 US. You tell me why. Tell me why. Tell me, why is it $2 more expensive? Is it because, no? There's no special treatment. This is matte, and this is varnished. I don't know. Anyway, yeah, story of a world where there is a kaiju defense force protecting the world from kaiju. Our main man is a bit of a kaiju himself, and it's a secret, and he's on the defense force trying to maintain his position while also not giving away that he may, in fact, be a kaiju. And it's just balls-to-the-wall action, a touch of sci-fi, a lot of, like, monster slaying, kaiju action, really, really charming characters. Just like Dawn to Dawn, a lot of heartwarming moments. You really, really want all of our characters to succeed because they're such great people. I remember from the first volume, Naoya Matsumoto said he wants the main character to be a character you read and you say, I want to be like that, because he's morally good, like in every way. He's a Superman kind of guy. And although it does take a character making some mistakes and doing the wrong thing to make an interesting plot, in general, I think the character is that way, and it is pretty fun to read and heartwarming. After that, Hellboy and the BPRD, The Secret of Chesbro House and Others, published by Dark Horse, trade paperback, retailing for $20 US. I don't even mind. That's too expensive for this. I don't mind. I love the Hellboy universe. A lot of stories in here. There were previously one-shots or miniseries. I think they're all one-shots. You've got Mignola writing with Olivier Vatine. You're going to hear some sounds because the cat's knocking stuff off the table. Olivier Vatine, Christopher Golden on story as well, Sean McManus, Gabriel Hernandez Walta, Mark Laszlo, and then Dave Stewart on a lot of the colors. Ooh, interesting. He's coming back for a lot of these. Oh, some of these were from before he actually left. Well, not left, but he lightened the workload. But interesting. So yeah, just a Hellboy book with a lot of one-shots, which is probably the best format for Hellboy stories. So I'm glad that it's a thing. I love Hellboy. I'm gonna do more videos with Hellboy here. There's Walta, Gabriel Hernandez Walta, famous from The Vision with Tom King. Yeah, classic Hellboy stuff. I don't need to say too much more about that. I've got Creepy Volume 3, which I think is my last volume of Creepy that I'm going to get. I do enjoy them, and I'm reading through the first volume right now, but I don't need all of Creepy. I mostly wanted the initial Creepy issues. I'm going to have to move this cat real quick. I wanted the initial Creepy issues because I wanted it as a collector to have art from these people, to have stories from this era, especially in a genre I love, horror. And that's why I read this, or why I bought the stuff. Artists like Neil Adams, Eugene Colan, Gil Kane, Frank Frazetta, Gray Morrow, John Severin, Joe Orlando, Angelo Torres. It's just a who's who of classic artists, and I just love having it. And I'm going to buy Creepy 1 through 3, Eerie 1 through 3. I'm done with Creepy now. If there's a really compelling argument for me to buy more, I'll do that, but here's the cat again. If there's a compelling argument for me to collect more of this stuff, I might. But for now, that's kind of all I'm in for. Next, we have an interesting one. It's Lone Sloan Babel. This is published by Sadix Press in the imprint of Titan Comics. Sadix is the imprint. Retails for $25. And this is a Lone Sloan book, character you might recognize because I've covered a lot of Drie on my channel. But this is not by Drie. It has his blessing, and so they get to use his character. But it is written by Xavier Cazo Zago, and illustrated by Dimitri Avramoglu. I'm not actually sure. The cat is just... Give me 1 second. I don't edit these, so you're going to hear some sounds real quick. We're going to move this cat. We have to move this cat. Okay. I'm not sure who those people are. I've never heard of them. And it even credits the person who had the original idea for the story, who is Sergey Lemon. I don't know any of these people. I just know I love Drie, and if he gives his blessing, it does seem to be true that the art is incredible and kind of follows in his footsteps. I love the Lone Sloan character. No, I like the Lone Sloan character. He is a vessel for Drie's crazy ideas. He doesn't have much of a character, if I'm being really honest. Besides, he loves freedom. But yeah, the art looks crazy. The story I couldn't tell you, but if it's anything like Drie's original scripts, if they're even scripted, it's going to be even crazier than the art and kind of nonsensical, but just cool. I bought it because, I'm not going to lie, I originally bought it thinking it was Drie. I probably still would have pulled the trigger knowing what I know now. It does look insane. Almost like Giger Lovecraftian-esque there. It does look just wild, so I'm really excited to have it, actually, surprisingly so. But it is not a Drie book 100%. The final Black Hammer Library Edition Volume 3. The final book in my haul, and the final book in the main continuity of Black Hammer. Published by Dark Horse, retailing for $50. It is a very large library edition, big and hefty library edition. I'll show you the size if you're not familiar with the format. Pretty damn large there. Big, chunky book. Yeah, Jeff Lemire wrote it. Caitlin Yarsky, Malachi Ward, Matt Sheehan on art, Dave Stewart on colors, and Nate Picos on letters. It is the final series of the main story of Black Hammer, which is called Black Hammer Reborn. It also includes a miniseries with Rich Tommaso on art. Why isn't he credited on the cover? Interesting. It includes a miniseries as well. But the main thing is the end of the Black Hammer story here. I'm not... No, I am. I'm up to date with the main story because it really hasn't been... There's been far more spin-offs than there have been main like issues of Black Hammer. It's really just a 12-issue miniseries and then this, if I'm correct. But I just want to see how it ends. It's got a very cool generational vibe going with the daughter of Black Hammer being our main character, I think. And I fell in love with Malachi Ward. And I'm trying to find my paperback here. Ancestor is the one I reviewed on the channel, but there's another one I read digitally that I can't recall. But Ancestor is my favorite, and I really like Malachi Ward's art from that. So I was happy to see that he was in this series as well. Caitlin Yarsky, I'm not really familiar with. So we have some characters. This looks to be Malachi Ward to me. Matt Sheehan always pairing with him on art. These characters are from miniseries, so they seem to be being pulled into the story, which is really cool. I don't know anything about this, but it is the last book of my haul. A lot of books on this one. Like, let's see. That's 1. This is 2 and 3, 4. We got Creepy and the 2 paperbacks, 5, 6, 7, 8. Blade of the Immortals, 9, but it's really heavy. 10, 11, 12. And then 16 from these 4, and 17 is Junji Ito. 17 books in this haul. I am not reading 17 books a month, if you can believe it. I'm reading like 5 or 6. And reading through Creepy Volume 1 has been like a long process because it's not... I feel like it's something best enjoyed in spurts. No one reads monthly magazines all in one sitting. It's kind of like a sit-down read. It's almost like newspaper comics where you want to sit down and enjoy it for a minute. Anyway, I'm rambling. I need to get through that so I can review it. I did read this. I'm not sure if I'll do a video on it, but if I don't, I enjoyed it a lot. It's a great sequel. Joe Hill's Hill House comics were a great thing. They seem to have slowed down, and it's really, really cool. You should read it. Refrigerator Full of Heads. Here's the credits. It's awesome. I might not do a video on it, but I might. Thanks for watching, guys. Thanks for listening to me ramble. I haven't been here in about a week, and I really appreciate that I'm still getting subs and views and stuff. Any time spent watching my videos, I think, is a is a treat, because the fact that anyone would spend time just watching me move my hands around comics and rambling about random stuff is very nice, and I appreciate it a lot. So thanks, guys. Peace.